What is up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about why I think trading courses are absolutely useless and it's a waste of money. But wait a second, Fat Cat. Don't you sell material on coffee for $133.33 per month? Don't you sell material and don't you always push it? Yeah, I do! Yeah, I know this looks like fucking clickbait. Okay, I fucking get it. However, there is a catch. You guys got to understand. I mean... Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why I think trading material is useless. However, there's a fucking catch! Yeah, and if you want to know what that juicy detail of a catch is, you're gonna have to stay for the later half of the fucking video, or you can just fast forward it. But either way, in this upfront beginning part, I'm gonna explain to you my gripes and the way I see trading courses and how I do think they're useless in some regards. What you guys got to understand is, essentially my YouTube channel is kind of like a course. I mean, I dump my heart and soul into the material I make and put on this channel, and it's long form, really highly detailed content. Because I love talking shop. I like this job. I'm very passionate about it. That's why I can talk about trading endlessly, essentially, because I fucking love it. And the people that are like, oh, they're too long, the videos are too long, you don't love trading. You don't love it, all right? You don't love it the way I fucking love it, and you need to love it. You gotta love it if you want to do this. So, I have a few playlists. I got a new trader playlist, talks all about order flow and stuff and that. And then also I have my course modules, but then there's all this other shit like these psychological videos. Like these, I definitely recommend that. So that's the other aspect of the game. So I give a lot of material, and if you go through all my YouTube videos for years, I'm highly engaged with the community. I will give you guys bigger, elaborate responses because, again, I love this. Whereas a lot of other people in my position really don't engage with their community at the level I do. And I've done a lot for the community for free, and then I talk to traders every day, all day long. Well, maybe not on the weekends, right? That's a given. But for years and years, I just engaged with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of retail traders. And I have a really good idea of what's going on in this industry, why things are the way they are, how new traders think differently than more experienced traders. I mean, this all factors into courses and stuff. Like, I made this video some time ago where I reviewed every trading course. Now, what's interesting about that video, where a lot of people, especially new traders, kind of forget that's happening in that video, is I reviewed every trading material and course I've gotten in chronological order of my career, and also talked about the evolution of my trading, what I was learning, where I was finding my stride in trading alongside of the material I was consuming. And a new trader that buys something like the Nadro course is not going to see it the same way as somebody who has a few years of experience. Because when I reviewed the Nadro course in that video, I had several years of experience at that point. So for me, it's going to just hit differently. I'm going to see it differently than a brand new trader. And chances are, if you're a newer trader, chances are you probably are a newer trader who's watching this, because typically at some point more experienced traders go their own way. They stop consuming trading materials. And when I make trading content more geared for newer traders, those videos always just do a lot better in performance, because that's who's watching a lot of this stuff. So a lot of newer traders, and if that's you guys just want to know, is the course good or is it not? Well, it depends. It really depends on who you're asking, where they're at in their trading journey, because that's just going to make all the difference in the world. And then this video, I do say courses overall are good. So why do I think courses are bad? Why do I think they're shit? Why am I willing to kind of go on the other side of the fence? Well, when I made those videos, I wasn't selling anything. So I do sell coffee narrations. There's got to be like close to 1,000 narrated trades. There's 110 episodes, 144 hours of narration. So that's a lot of fucking case studies and just all this other shit. And I know how this looks. I know it looks like kind of clickbaity and stuff, that I'm fucking promoting my own shit on a video where I'm gonna talk a little bit of shit about trading courses, but that's not really a trading course, right? My trading course, my modules are free on YouTube, and that's not even fucking complete, to be honest with you. There's so much more that needs to go into it. So as I deal with traders and stuff, as I get more into this, as the years go on, have more experience with trying to help traders. For me, the question is, how can I get traders to understand what's going on to craft their edge? And being in my position where I try to help traders to the best of my abilities, what you guys don't see is that it is a challenging, like trying to convey stuff in order for you guys to clearly understand what is really happening in the markets. It's not easy, and it can't be done in a 20-hour segment. Like, some of these courses might be around 20, 30 hours on the high end or whatever. I think Nadro is kind of around that time, and then they also have an intensive attached to it where, by the way, I review one of Merritt's intensives in here. Several episodes where I trade alongside him. Well, not alongside him, but I'm trading when he's trading. So that's him. When he does his intensives, those are like live case studies, if you will. And in my opinion, and I'm going to share with you guys a trader who's been with me for 6 months in my coffee, and just kind of like the progress he's making. And I also want to share what's going on in his past as well, because he does have some pedigree, which is interesting. I just want to kind of push that off to the side. However, as I've had traders who've been with me long term, the traders that have really been with me for months and months and months and months, those are the ones who are starting to see their performance increase. I mean, it is still, in my opinion, that no matter what you consume, it's going to take you years to do this. It's going to take you years to do this. However, what I notice is just, 20, 30 hours of material is not going to be enough for you guys to, just have this massive increase in your performance. It's through repetition, like anything else. If you're trying to get muscles, you got to go to the gym months at a time before you really, transform, right? Same thing if you're trying to do something like a skateboard trick or trying to perform in athletics at a high level. A lot of you guys know I roller skate. I've gotten really fucking good at it, and I've been doing it for a year. I'll have to show you guys like a montage at some point, but I do some insane shit. But it's through going to the skating rink 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week, through repetition and just grinding, that I cultivated my skill. So I think a lot of traders think that whatever they're consuming is just going to rub off on them. And you also have to look at it from this perspective. You guys are retail traders. Most of you are not in prop firms, and your earn to trade account is not a fucking prop firm, okay? I'm talking about real prop firms. For instance, Lance Breitstein. A lot of you guys probably know who Lance Breitstein is. If you don't know, he used to be an 8-figure trader. He's semi-retired at this point. Came out of the woodworks, and he talks shop. He talks about trading. However, if you listen to the beginnings of his journey, he was in a professional prop environment sitting next to a highly successful trader, and he was not consistent for the first year. Some of these traders in professional environments, sitting next to professional traders with a proven professional track record, when you sit down next to that guy, it's still going to take you years in a professional environment with professional traders with professional track records. So, in my opinion, a lot of the fuckery when it comes to courses, why I think they're shit, is on you guys. Now, I'll talk about course providers and things I don't like and things that you should probably look out for when it comes to educational material. However, it's sort of a two-way street at this at this juncture, because a lot of newer traders are purchasing these courses and they come in with these expectations and these thoughts. They're simply not true. They're false. And again, you talk to veteran traders versus newer traders, just two completely different mindsets on what this really is. It's kind of like, you know, young men, young guys in their teens, late teens, go to war. They want to go to war. They're hopped up on testosterone. They want combat. They want action. And then when you have a veteran who's seen it, who's seen the horrors of war and seen what it really is, they're not, when a new guy goes through that, they're not the same. I mean, you can see it in the eyes. You can see these before and after pictures of veterans before combat, after. It changes you. You're not the same. And you can these veterans just have a different look on it, more respect for it, if you will. And it's not what they thought it was once they went through it. And that's how trading is. It's if you're new, this is not at all what you think it is. And I try time and time again to convey this shit to new traders, and they never seem to get it because they have to go through it in order to get it. You have to walk the path of fire. You have to get absolutely murdered in this. That is your baptism into traderhood in order to see it for what it really is. I can tell you this, but until you walk the path, then you'll know. That's that. Until then, you won't know. I'm actually been guiding a pretty new trader with only like 3 or 4 weeks of experience. He asked me questions, but he wants these black and white answers. Like, how do you know to do this? How do you know to do that? And then I show him things and he gets really excited about it. But I'm like, dude, like, you got to understand, my results will never be your results. Okay. So learning from a specific trader, no matter what their pedigree is, it really doesn't fucking matter. Like, their results will not be your results. Their results will not just rub off on you magically, and then you can do it. And I think a lot of traders that go and buy these educational pieces, these courses, they have the mindset that this guy is going to change me. But in reality, it's inside of you, and it was always inside of you. And I want to share with you guys this P&L statement. This is like 3 weeks of trading, and this guy's been with me for 6 months, and he sent me this. So he's been with my coffee 6 months, and I just want to show you guys and talk about this specific trader. He says, "Hey, Fat Cat, I just want to let you know that I love hanging out with you when you do live streams. Unfortunately, I can trade only the first 60 to 90 minutes. I have a problem with waking up in the morning, so I usually trade a little bit later. Even though I think the open is the best time, fatigue is a whole nother topic. I want to do a video on fatigue because that's where I suffer the most of my P&L. But he's working on a business. He's trying to build a business, and he's doing this part-time, which is good. So he says he can only do 60, 90 minutes of the open, and then he has to go build his business. And this guy gets it, because I tell a lot of traders, you need to treat this as a hobby, and you need to be doing something else. And at some point, once your hobby makes enough, then you can quit whatever else you're doing. So he gets it. You can't just go all in this, because if you do that, you're going to choke and fuck up. But anyway, he says, I implemented your micro price action ideas on March 11th. And I started talking about micro price action a lot in my coffees, and I started highlighting my 3-second charts a lot more. And I got a lot of response from other traders. And until I get response, it's hard for me to understand what it is that you guys need from me in order to gain clarity of the markets. I think when it comes to trading education, it's more so gaining clarity, like crystal clear clarity of what's happening, so you can make the best decisions. Because, I can show you a setup, but if you don't have the clarity around that, that's problematic, right? You're missing one of the key ingredients here. So So I've been getting a lot of positive response, and see, I don't know this shit until you guys tell me. And that's another problem with a lot of you guys is you guys don't say shit. A lot of you guys, most of you don't ask questions. If you don't get something, you don't say shit. And for somebody in my position, it's hard for me to understand what can I do differently to help you guys. So this is why I think a lot of the problems with trading material and content, it's you guys. You know, it's really easy to blame the content creator and all that shit, but a lot of the issue comes from you guys not willing to fucking ask questions and just struggle with something you don't really quite understand. And someone like me, I'm more than happy to fucking create clarity, you know? I'll have people ask me to do a video on something. Like, I did a video, somebody asked me to do a video on this topic in the fucking comment section, and I did it. I did it for the guy, right? So, you know, and some people just won't ask. This guy asked, and I fucking did it. And fucking happy as fuck, and I cleared shit up for him, you know? So, the thing about it is this specific trader who has this P&L, and I know it's not that impressive, right? But this specific trader asked me a fuckload of questions, consumes a shitload of content. So he said, I'm implementing your micro price action idea on March 11th, and now this is my third positive week in a row trading 2 lots. He says, there's a lot more to hone, of course, but I've never had 3 positive weeks in a row. Thank you for being generous with your knowledge and for being one of the few, very few honest traders on social media. Let me know if you need anything. Now, what I want to do is, you know, talk more about this trader, and, you know, there's losses on there. There's quite a few losses, and there's some floundering in the P&L. However, this is the reality of you're going to have to go through this. You're going to have to go through this stage before you really hit your stride. You don't just go from lack of consistency to consistency like that. It's going to be this slow progression, this slow shift. And I do talk about it in this video. I talk about how you got to like cut off, you know, bad trades. Getting your psychology in check is going to help make bad trades go away. And then learning the skill and the art of management, it's going to increase your P&L, the green. And that's what this trader is going through right now. And this is the reality of a trader who understands what's going on. And just to tell you that this trader, in fact, does know what's going on. He has an interesting pedigree. This specific trader's, I was chatting with him, and, you know, a new trader came in, and he said he only been trading futures for less than a year, and he's lost $20,000. And he's like, should I go on sim? And I'm like, absolutely. It's going to take you several years to figure this out. I mean, it took me 4 fucking years to figure it out. Well, the specific trader who has this P&L you see right here, he said, I worked at a prop shop for 2 years. It had 4,000 traders around the world. Out of all of them, there was exactly one prodigy, only one out of 4,000. And he was trading equities. So, and he also apparently used Russell correlations, which I preach, baby. This specific trader with this specific P&L has 2 years of prop experience, and he's still trying to find his stride. So it really goes to show you that when you find specific traders with a specific pedigree who are really good, it's not going to rub off on you. You know, as much as you want to find the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the street and find some 8-7-figure trader to learn from, the skill gap between you and that is so big. I mean, 6-figure trading has to come before 7- and 8-figure trading, right? As much as I know you want to be the big dick on campus, just swinging size, fuck, I ain't no 7-figure trader, right? I'm not. However, again, 6 figures comes before 7 figures, 8 figures. And when you're sitting in professional environments, because, you know, doing this, I know prop traders, and I know plenty of them who have sat with good traders, and that skill does not rub off on you. It simply does not. I mean, because it's you. It's you. It's the quality of work that you're putting in. This one trader, you know, with this P&L that we're looking at, here's what he sent me. So, you know, he said he implemented so this one trader said he started implementing this shit on the 18th. So this one trader started implementing this stuff on March 11th. So I just want to share some of his messages because he just reaches out to me. And a lot of people don't reach out to me. On March 11th, he says, in keeping with mastering 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern window, I started streaming to YouTube. Again, this is something I've talked about, how important it is to stream to YouTube. I talk about it in this specific video. And I talk about how narrating your own trading is very important. So this one trader, again, with these results you're looking at, he started streaming and he says, chattering nonstop forced me to stay focused. I talk about how important it is. Again, I know you guys hate the repetition of me constantly referring to videos. Some of you don't like it, but repetition is the mother of all skill. I have to do this because the more you watch me, the more this stuff gets beat into your head, the more it goes into the unconscious mind, the more you are going to start to shift and do this. If I tell you guys shit one fucking time, it's going to go right through, okay? Like these videos right here are important, and this guy is consuming them. He's implementing it. So he's chattering, he's talking to himself through the trading, and I talk about how important that is. He says, I noticed chattering or talking to myself forced me to stay focused and using positive self-talk. I preach the importance of positive self-talk. I want to talk about that more and do a full-length video on YouTube for you guys on that specific subject because I haven't. I've mentioned it here and there. But he's been using positive self-talk when he missed a move or made a mistake, he says. And also doesn't let me use hindsight to justify actions later on. He said using YouTube from the journaling video is such a great idea. This is somebody who's going through the coffee, who has a pedigree in a prop firm, who's still trying to find his stride, okay? A lot of people aren't going to do what I tell them to do, and this is where a lot of trading courses, it's your fucking fault. This is why a lot of trading material doesn't work. And realistically, a lot of this trading, like the talent won't rub off on you. And a lot of traders think that if a trader like me doesn't get you consistent or some bullshit, I suck. You're the one pressing the button. So then, you know, many days later, March 28th, he said, since I started really paying attention and focusing on the micro price action and narrating all my trades in real time, it's surprising how fatiguing even 1 hour of trading is. Compared to what I do now, trading in the past was a lot of fucking around. So what he's noticing is, this specific trader here, what he's noticing is he wasn't focusing or paying attention. You can put in 10,000 hours, 10,000 hours, and then you're a master at whatever. It's all bullshit. What is the quality of work you're putting in? You and I can do the same thing. You and I can go to, because again, I like roller skating. We can go to the rink together and I will grind the same fucking trick for an hour straight. Whereas you might go there and just do the same moves you're comfortable with and never willing to step out of your comfort zone and to push yourself. Those of you who go to the gym and love the gym and bulking up, you got to push it to the next level, and it hurts and it's uncomfortable with more weights. So a lot of you guys get complacent and just do what's comfortable, and you never grow and you just plateau. I mean, I think the failure rate in trading really is y'all's fault. Again, I'm going to talk more shit about trading courses, but I want to highlight this specific trader because this isn't most traders, and this guy is getting better. And again, the reality doesn't look very pretty, but that's what it is, guys. Whether you want to agree with me or not, some traders are in such denial when I tell them it's going to take you several years. A lot of traders want to prove me wrong, but I've not seen it happen for anybody in a year, 2 years. It's going to take you years. And that is a hard pill for most traders to swallow. And I like to show you guys what this really is. And seeing this, as much as it's kind of swinging in the P&L, this is what it really is. You got to go through this transitional phase. And this guy feels good about this. And again, in this video that a viewer requested, by the way, thank you, subscriber. He's commented on many videos. Thank you for recommending me to do that video. This is a real live example of what I talk about in that video. And this specific trader is going to be lopping off certain chunks to get the P&L more consistent, right? So this specific trader, he's buying a business and he's going through a business course. And then he sent me a quote again on the 21st of March. And he says, in one of the slides which resonates, this is what was in one of the slides that resonates what you said in the past. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent, not perfect. Okay. So this specific trader is really getting this. Again, he has 2 years in a prop environment. He's treating it like a hobby. He's been here long enough that he understands what it truly is. He is like a combat veteran who's seen combat. So therefore, he's able to take a lot of what I teach and see it in a different way than a brand new trader will, and apply it in ways that a brand new trader cannot. This is why I think it depends on where you're at in your journey to what the quality of, what is the course really going to give you? It's going to give everybody something different. And then this specific trader we're highlighting here, one can practice and practice, but if one is practicing the wrong thing, one just develops bad habits. And this is what he told me. This guy fucking gets it. And, I hate to say it, but most of you are just not ever going to be on that fucking level. And hopefully I'm talking to at least one of you. 2 of you would be fucking great, but at least one of you I'm talking to right now. I know there's one of you where what I'm saying really resonates with you. And if you're that one trader where this makes sense, good. I'm glad. Keep pushing. Okay? If you really want this bad enough and you love it. And this specific trader, we're showing he's enjoying the journey of it. A lot of you guys just want to be there. As much as that would be nice, the thing about trading is there's something about conquering something that's so fucking difficult that makes it so much more satisfying. Getting anything easily handed to you doesn't have a level of satisfaction to it as going through something so brutally difficult and conquering it. There's something there that creates a fulfillment inside of you that we as humans need, especially men. We need this sense of satisfaction for achieving and conquering very difficult tasks. So enjoying the journey, enjoying to fail, because the harder something is, the more you're going to fail. So you got to embrace the fail. And then again, he sent me this yesterday and he's telling me how, it's working for him. And I mean, the P&L's fluctuating. You can see fluctuations, and you're going to hit a point where it feels like you're just treading in water and you're just kind of above break even. You're just kind of floating in the green, and you might keep dipping below break even or into the negative, but somehow you can keep floating and you're just staying above it. And that can be frustrating. All I can say is you have to just keep doing this. You have to keep treading the water, and you can't give up, and you have to keep making smart decisions. And as you gain experience, you'll be able to get more and more out of that treading phase that you're all going to go through. You're all going to go through this, okay? So you got the running P&L on the right. So these are the net P&Ls of the day, and the run on the right is, where he's at after 3 weeks, right? Sure, he's hitting points where, it's negative overall on the run, right? There's these chunks, but he's able to really dig himself out. And after 3 weeks, you can see that this is the biggest win. I know it's not that impressive, $669, But that's the reality of what that is. And he should be proud of himself. And I told him this because, you know, I mean, that's the most he's made within this 3-week time span. He dug out of a $1,300 loss. That's fan-fucking-tastic, man. And after 3 weeks of really implementing these micro price actions and shit, that I guess he's thoroughly enjoying, you can see how he's made more than he has the entire 3 weeks of trading. And that's progress right there. And I told him, you know, you're going to have a week of shit. It's going to happen. You're just going to hit a point where you're going to fuck up. You're going to fumble fuck the P&L. It's just going to happen, man. And what's interesting is, like, you can crush it for weeks at a time, and there can be that 1, 2, 3 day losing streak, and you just really shut down. And it feels like all that winning and stuff in the past doesn't matter. And a lot of traders, and I used to do this a lot, you get into your head and you question everything that's going on. And that's where a lot of traders start to deviate from course material, and then they course hop, material hop, because they might have a little success with it, but the moment, if there's just a brief moment of fuck ups, all of a sudden they just think what it is they're learning doesn't fucking work. But in reality, a lot of traders aren't reviewing their material or reviewing their own trading and actually taking conscious effort to fix their problems, to correct the trading, because the fumble fucking could have been some emotional issue. And I really think a lot of the fumble fucking could be an emotional, psychological issue you need to fix, or you're just taking terrible trades. But you wouldn't know if you're not actually doing the part where you're reviewing, which most traders aren't going to do. Everybody wants to be a trader until they have to do trader work. A majority of NBA players don't love the game, and there's a lot of players in the industry talking about how most NBA players, they don't. They just want the fame and money that comes with it. They don't want to practice. They don't want to practice that hard. They don't love the game. You got to love trading. Whereas most of you watching this, you just love the money and the cloud of being a trader. You don't really love this. Whereas the one trader who we've been talking about right here, he loves it. He's doing it. He's enjoying it. And he loves it even when he's taking these swings in his P&L. I mean, this isn't the most impressive testament for what it is I share and teach, right? I'm not putting something in front of you where it's like, yeah, look at the results this fucking guy got. That's not what this is. This is the reality of it. And this specific trader has been with me for 6 fucking months. Okay. And then I have another trader that's been with me for 6 months. So I have another guy that's been with me for a very long time on the coffee as well. He says, can't thank you enough for helping us traders. I wasn't ready for your material late last year. Committed to learning it. It's a lot. And watching the market side by side, marking up all the levels and especially your micro ranges. Again, micro price action. This is where I'm seeing coffee members love this shit. The micro ranges has helped me a lot. Then he also said, learning your 3-second chart micro ranges in the context of bigger range. And I don't even know what I'm doing, but it's helping me a lot in timing. So this guy's starting to get this is a different trader, by the way, than the one with the P&L that we looked at. So his timing is getting a lot better, he says. So, and what also you guys got to understand about like, trading courses and trading material, just courses in general, is when you guys go through that type of shit, you're only retaining 8 to 10% of it. So you have to really watch a trading course 10, 15 times in order to really let that shit resonate and sink in. And I guarantee none of you have ever done that. I've never fucking done that. Okay, so realistically, you have to do that. There is material that I consume that has nothing to do with trading, and the specific provider of this material talks about exactly that. 8 to 10% of what you're consuming is being retained, and that's it. The rest is going right out the window. So he has this book he tells everybody you need to read 10 to 15 times to really understand it. He says you got to go through this material enough to the point you can actually teach the shit. And I really think that's huge. Like, if you're going through a trading course, you need to understand it well enough that you could teach it. And if you can do that, then you can really implement the shit. And most traders never get to that level, so they're going to course jump or course hop. And that's also the thing is, that's why I have the coffee, because I'm constantly putting up narrated episodes. So it's the freshest sessions. And I know you guys are not going to go through my YouTube channel or my course modules on YouTube 10 to 15 times. I know you guys aren't going to fucking do that shit, right? And the thing about my narrations is it's constantly the freshest trading sessions, which is good. That's sort of a gripe I want to complain about with courses is a lot of courses are filming material in different regiments, so I think courses tend to be outdated pretty quickly. But going back to the repetition is, so far I'm noticing the traders that are finding success with what I share have been with me for 6 months. And I think that's the reality of what it really takes to comprehend another trader's system. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, why is it traders fail at courses, and where do course providers fuck up? I think there's some discrepancy there. I think there's dissonance in that, to where people like me can do a better job. However, people like you could also do a better job. And what is it that we need to do better on both our behalves so we can meet in the middle and I can clarify things, and then you guys can actually grow? I mean, again, you guys got to put in the fucking work, which isn't most people. You got to be committed. So the traders that have been with me for a long time, they're getting clarity. It's not, these aren't results you guys would want to see, but again, this is the reality of what the situation is. It's going to take you years. It took Lance Breitstein a full fucking year, maybe 2 years of sitting in a professional environment next to the fucking guy, breathing on his neck, looking at the screen, and he still couldn't fucking get it. So you going through a trading course one fucking time, right? You going through a trading course one fucking time and giving up on it and not really applying it, not reviewing your own trading, and just not following through. That's why this shit doesn't work and people fucking complain. I mean, that's the reality of what this fucking industry is. I mean, at some point, I think consumers of course material have to fucking own up to their own responsibility of, like, not doing what it fucking takes, instead of just bitching and complaining about something. Yeah, with this one educational material that's outside of trading that I'm consuming, I'm actually going through this shit several times as recommended, 10 to 15 times, and I shit you to fuck not. Every time I go through this material, there's something I didn't fucking hear, or there's something that resonates with my situation, and I'm like, whoa. And also, when you're applying what you learn in a trading course, you need to gain some experience and then rewatch the course, because now that you have experience, you rewatch the course, you're going to see something in there that you didn't see before. So that's so important. It's one thing to go through the material 10 to 15 times and then you try trading, go through it once, put in a few weeks, go through it again, put in a few weeks, go through it again, put in a few weeks, because you're gaining experience. And that's what a course provider can't do. Again, the magic, the talent won't rub off on you. And also, somebody like me with 7.5 years of experience, there's no fucking way I can jam that down into 144 fucking hours is what I got right now of narrations. I mean, there's more hours on my coffee than that with other material, But I can't take 7.5 years and put it into 144 fucking hours of footage. I can't take 7.5 years of experience and stick it inside of your fucking head. I can't take 7.5 years of experience and just convey it into material, because it would take 7.5 fucking years to explain 7.5 years of experience. And even then, you gotta trade. It's like people that are sports fans who've been watching like football or some shit for decades, but they've never played the fucking game. They can't play the game. They've watched it for so long, they get it on this level, but the moment they try to play it, it's so different. The moment you try to trade it, it's so different. So I can't give you that. There's no fucking way anybody's ever going to be able to give you that, no matter what you're trying to achieve in your fucking life. Hence the practice, right? Hence this specific trader stands that. And I think a lot of people that come in this industry have never really done these high skill based things and gotten good at something that requires a lot of practice. A lot of people come in this industry, have no experience doing that, so they just don't fucking get it. They just don't comprehend it. So for them, it's just all bullshit. So instead of you guys, watching something 10 to 15 times, if I'm just giving you fresh new shit all the time, narration after narration after narration, you're going to watch those once. In fact, most of my subscribers on Coffee, maybe a third of them that aren't watching these things, because I can see how many people have watched them, and I can see for how long they're watching this stuff. And I even timestamp where the trades are, so if you don't have the time to watch this shit, you can at least go see the trades, and that's better than nothing. This one specific trader, he actually is watching some of the material all the way through, because I think it's important to hear the build up, my thinking on the hard right edge. So instead of watching shit for, 10 to 15 times, there's always something new. So after a month, you've watched maybe 20 sessions, right? So that's kind of the equivalent of watching something 10 to 15 times, right? You've watched maybe 20 sessions if you caught all of them. So all the trades are a little different nuances, different scenarios. And I think that's actually better than watching one course 10 to 15 times, because every trade is different. And the problem with courses is the material, if they're showing trades, they're showing you that one specific trade. However, there's an unlimited amount of variations, context, and scenarios surrounding that type of trade. And if you're going through the material, if you're not seeing how trading is gray, it's not black and white, where if this happens, you do this. That's not trading. There's this element of flow to it, an element of having to make the right decision at the right time with it. The management's never going to be perfect. Understanding this and just seeing different trades is a lot more beneficial than watching a course where there's maybe 10 trades, they highlight it, and that's it. I don't think that's enough. Go through the course 10 to 15 times. Yeah, you're going to get a lot from it. However, I think, in my opinion, trying to help you guys understand how this works, I think just seeing hundreds of these fucking things is more beneficial, and then you don't have to watch the same shit over and over, because I preach the same shit in each session. I show the same shit in each session. It's just different, and I feel that different just seeing several case study after case study after case study. I think that's more beneficial than a fixed course. And this is where we're getting into the point where I'm going to bitch about courses, is like some courses, like you have John Grady. I talked about John Grady in that video. One thing I would have to say is I don't know if his material is updated. His material can be like almost 10 years old at this point, right? When I was brand new, 7.5 years ago, 7 years ago, something in that time frame is when I consumed his content. If his content has not been updated since then, while I do feel it's relevant, I feel it's irrelevant as well. I think for a brand new trader, you can get a lot from it. However, the problem is a market from 10 years ago, 8 years ago, that market regime is not this market regime. We've had COVID happen. The markets have lost liquidity. The markets are substantially thinner. This current market regime is not the same regime as that. So there's certain things that aren't going to work as well. And if the problem with these older trading courses is if John Grady's been trading for an additional 8 years since he's made that material, well, he's gotten better and his outlook of how the markets work has shifted. I mean, you're never going to hit this point of plateau. Well, you could. But as a trader, you're never going to hit this point where you're not learning something. You're always learning, so your outlook and shit shifts on stuff. Like my outlook on order flow, I just don't really look at order flow the way I used to and the way I talk to you guys. The longer I sit here, the more I realize order flow is not at all what we thought it was. And I have it's a whole nother video, but just my opinion on all that shit. Like, I've come to realize that most of us really don't know how markets function, and I'm starting to realize like how they really fucking function. And my opinions on a lot of shit has changed. And if I had made a course several years ago, well, this current opinion wouldn't be in it. And that's no longer my view or outlook anymore, because my trading is evolving over time. If something doesn't evolve, it dies. You know what I mean? So things have to grow and shift and change. And that's the problem with older courses is while it could be relevant, it's irrelevant. And that specific trader is probably looking at the market from a different perspective. So what is their updated perspective on this shit? And Gary Norden, I talk about Gary Norden, infamous scalping material in that course review video. Gary Norden talks about how his material gets pirated. However, jokes on the pirators because they're constantly updating the material. As market regimes shift, he's changing the material, updating the material. So Gary Norden understands this aspect, and I have a lot of respect for the fact that he's updating and shifting the material. Now, one thing, I haven't gone through his new shit or any of that. One thing, though, is like a lot of his trade examples are him narrating after the fact. And if you've gone through the Apteros intensives, again, I've done a review on that. If you go through the Apteros intensives and listen to Merit Trade on the Hard Right Edge, or if you've gone through John Grady's live webinars, the way a trader talks on the Hard Right Edge real time, they're thinking through the trades, they sound different. There's something different in their voice because there's a level of uncertainty. Whereas if the trader takes the recorded material of them trading, then talk over it after the fact, they're going to present that trade from a different viewpoint, a different perspective, and they're going to talk with more confidence. And it's just going to be presented differently. And I think it's imperative that if you're going to learn from a trader, what are they thinking in the moment on the hard right edge, and what does that sound like? Because in the end, you have to make decisions on the hard right edge. You're going to have that internal dialogue with yourself as you are venturing into the unknown as you put on trades. And hearing a trader with confidence in their voice, sometimes you can hear them not be confident. I've heard Merritt not be confident. I've heard John Grady not be confident. And these little verbal cues are so important. And I think it's very important to hear a trader on the hard right edge during the moment. Even if it's a pre-recorded session, what does their voice sound like on the hard right edge? And this is where I think my coffee, the narrations are good because you get to hear my thinking. And then I'll make a YouTube video and I'll show that same trade and I might narrate over that footage And the way I'm presenting it is it's just not the same. It's not the same effect to the viewer as it would be if they heard it on the hard right edge. Now, don't get me wrong, after the fact presentation, I think is good. I think that's also a good thing. I think presenting the trade and talking about it after the fact and narrating over the hard right edge narration also has a lot of benefits that the narration during the hard right edge and the real-time moment doesn't have. I think both of those presentations are really important because, again, management's never perfect. So here's where I kind of fucked up. Here's where I could have got tighter. Here's what got me into it. Here's where I was confident. Whereas a narration on the hard right edge, it's not going to, it's all the unknown and uncertainty, right? I'm not sitting here analyzing going, oh, I fucked this up or I fucked that up. Maybe sometimes I will. And the thing is, I don't think Gary Norton's material has that. That's the problem with his material is you can't hear him talking through a trade on the hard right edge and his thinking. It's all after the fact. While, again, that has benefits, I think for you, a trader consuming the material, you're missing the other half that you need because in the end, you're going to be trading on the hard right edge. So you need to know how other pro traders are thinking. I think that's very key. And that one specific trader, this one with the P&L, he said, watching you trade and hearing you trade has helped me get better. So, I mean, whereas Apteros, Merritt does that. He has after the fact reviews and then you can hear them on the hard right edge and it's just two different sides of them I think is important for you to see. Same thing with John Grady. He has after the fact breakdowns versus webinars where you can hear him on the hard right edge. Now again, I think some of these materials are problematic. Gary Norton updates his material apparently. I'm not sure that's what he says. I'm sure he does what he says. Whereas something like John Grady's stuff, I don't know if it's been updated. Somebody wants to say it has in the comments, by all means. But if it's 7-8 years old, I think at some point it's starting to become irrelevant. And I know he sees the markets differently because I know after I went through his material, he started trading stocks, which he wasn't doing when I went through his materials. So him going on that journey has shifted and now he does stock material. Now, like the Nadro course, that's several years old as well. And the thing about the Nadro course is it's all theory and it really doesn't show any trades. What they do is they do give you a bonus live intensive, which I think is helpful. The problem is that live intensive could be several fucking years old. I know they're constantly updating and refining things on Apteros. But I think if you're going to buy the material, and I don't know if they're listening or not, they need to put in the most recent intensive. And these intensives may be only every quarter or a handful of times a year, if that several months can go by. I feel that the market regimes and stuff shift so drastically that something that's 3-4 months old can start to become irrelevant versus when I just post constantly the freshest session, constantly. So that's kind of my gripe with that type of shit, that type of material. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better than something being several years old, but I know you can spend more money and get all of the intensives. However, the market regimes are shifting. And if you watch my review of the intensive, and you can even go on Merritt's Twitter, right here, he says, 4 scalps in NQ this morning while I sit on a ZN swing. So the thing, what Merritt does, and this is a gripe, is like, even when I was going through his intensive last March, and trading alongside, he was scalping a lot. And that's something that's not taught in the Nadro course. They either rolled out or they're rolling out a scalping course. I don't know if it's come out or not. I'm not really up to date with what they're doing because I focus on my own shit at this point in time. But he does a lot of shit that's not taught in the Nadro course where he's doing these scalps and stuff. And Whereas in the Nadra course, he teaches this more elementary basic principle, which I understand where he's coming from. And I understand that he's process oriented. And I understand that trading the Nadro system and not deviating it is important for a trader's development. I totally fucking get that. But in the end, he's not trading like that. He is scalping and maneuvering in ways that are not taught in the Nadro course. So therefore, his results are different. He's not taking these rigid Nadro setups. Now, I'm sure some of his prop desk traders are and having luck with that. However, as he brings more discretion in his trading, his results are going to be different. He also campaigns entries a lot where he's putting on multiple entries. I think he trades like 40, 50 lots in queue. We don't do that. His skill level is so far ahead of what most of us are doing. He's swinging such large size and he's doing these campaigns that he just gets these drastically different results. And I think when a trader's skill gap is that far ahead, I think it's really hard for them to teach and convey information to newer traders whose skill gap isn't that hard. Now, this isn't to throw him under the bus by any fucking means. It's just, I've been doing this for a long time, so I see what he's doing, and I feel I'm pretty good at conveying and teaching traders, and I think he is as well. And as both of us are educators, there are things I would just do differently. Just like during the fucking intensive, there were things he did I didn't agree with. And I actually came out green on the week and he didn't. And he was also taking these scalps, these aggressive scalps. And that shit just wasn't taught. That shit wasn't ever taught. And I also do believe, this is speculation, and I think I've heard it somewhere within the community for Apteros, but there's a lot of stuff that he teaches his prop traders that he's not teaching in the Nadro course. And I think that's where, a lot of these prop firms like that, like SMB, there is a lot of juicy information they're not sharing with you guys. There's a lot of like deep shit that these guys are just withholding. And that withheld information, I think, is doing you guys a disservice. And I think that withheld information may or may not, I don't know, could be the difference in you making that specific system work for you. I tell you guys every fucking thing. I just say it how it is. For me personally, I don't hide shit as far as like what I'm looking at. I tell you guys all this shit. But I mean, I'm in a different boat because like John Grady, professional prop firm pedigree. Merritt Black, professional prop firm pedigree. Gary Norden, professional market maker. S&B, professional prop firm. Me, just a retail trader. I think a lot of these prop firm traders who were raised in that type of environment, I don't think they really, I don't want to say they don't understand retail traders. They just don't understand the journey and the come up for retail traders. They don't understand what it's like to go through this journey and have virtually no support system. They're like, oh, go make a community, go make a, Lance Breitstein preaches, make a pod, a trading pod. Work with other people, hold each other accountable. And I've really tried to cultivate communities with retail traders, and retail traders just don't function and operate the same way prop traders do under the same umbrella. They just don't. Retail traders really trying to get that prop-like experience with just a group of retail traders is very hard to cultivate, and it's very hard to come by, and finding guys that resonate with your trading is also very difficult. Guys that trade kind of like you is very difficult. From what I've heard, I think this is speculation, but Merritt no longer is coaching people who don't do Nadro system. And if that's the truth, then I can understand that. Most of his prop traders are Nadro traders, so therefore it's easier for him to coach. For me, it's hard to coach somebody personally that's not trading like me, who's doing completely different shit. There's just there's a level that I just don't understand. Like, you can have edge doing something I don't understand, and then at some point, I'm very limited in how I can help. Psychologically, yeah, I can help. I've helped an equities trader with sizing issues before, but beyond understanding the ebb and flow of certain equities, I don't fucking know. So that's where I can't help. So it's one thing to have communities and shit, and a lot of, like at S&B, they'll split off traders who are like-minded, who they'll put the scalpers with the scalpers and the swing traders with the swing. There's a reason they do that, so they can cultivate the skills with guys who resonate with each other. And that's very problematic with retail traders, because in the end, we're all kind of doing our own fucking thing. Now, the specific trader like this guy, he's resonates with what I do, so he's doing a lot of what I do, so therefore he's starting to see results. But somebody who's doesn't really resonate with me or isn't trying to copy me as best as possible, it's just going to be hard to have that sort of tight-knit community. Again, the withholding of information, I get it. I get why they do that shit, because prop traders are always shrouded in secrecy. That's just how it is. But again, these guys just really have not come up as a retail trader with no support. Like, no trading coaches, you know, they have risk managers. They have trading psychologists that help them. They have accountability partners. They're grouped up with like-minded traders. You have somebody way more experienced than you that's guiding and helping you. As a retail trader, you don't get any of that shit. You don't get any of that shit. And the come up as a retail trader is going to be inherently more difficult. If it's taken them 2 years in a professional environment like that, it's going to take us longer. You're looking at 4 to 7 years, realistically. I mean, if you have the chance to get on a professional desk, go for it. But, like, not earn a trade, shit like that, okay? That's not professional trading environment. So I think a lot of these prop guys really don't get it. They were never in the retail trenches throwing the retail grenades with retail traders like I have. I really think that they didn't experience it from this level, so they just don't get it. Just like I don't get that whole prop trading upbringing, right? And the thing is, these prop traders, God, some of them have the biggest fucking egos ever, but they have every right. Anybody who's at the top of their game in athleticism and all that, they're going to have big fucking egos. Not all of them are like that, but they carry their way in a certain way, and, you know, so be it. That's fine. But I feel, maybe I'm just projecting, but I feel some of these prop firm traders or ex-prop firm traders, they just kind of look at retail traders from this level of superiority. They did come from a professional environment, so I do get why they would do that. However, they just lack the understanding of what it's like for retail traders to come up as just a retail trader. And I don't think that connection will ever really be there. You know, it's like the rag to riches story. A lot of us watch these underdog movies like Scarface. He was nothing. He had nothing and he built an empire, right? Or the Wolf of Wall Street, had nothing going on, built an empire, right? A lot of us regular ass plain Jane retail traders resonate with that story because that's our story. Watching some guy scrap through some shit on his own with no support and rise up. And when you're put into a professional team in a professional environment, you didn't have that you had to scrap and fight your way up to the top thing. You were very fortunate to have what you had that we don't have. Those guys are very fortunate and privileged. I hate fucking saying that shit, but they are. They're privileged in a way we don't have. And because they experience that lens of reality, they don't they will never truly understand and see it from the retail trader's perspective. I think that's where there can be a lot of disconnect with retail traders and these prop guys. I think there's a lot of disconnect there because the experiences are just different. And I don't know. I resonate with a lot of fucking retail traders, and like the thing is, like, I'm not that much further ahead of you, where a lot of these prop guys are like, their skill set is so much further versus someone like me. I think what I do in my trading is achievable for a lot of you, more so if you have several years of experience. Obviously, that gap's going to progressively get bigger. But also, like, you guys are watching me develop as well. I mean, if you watch the life of this channel, you see the development. Some people who've watched me for years has seen the growth. And I think seeing documented growth and development like that is very beneficial for you guys, because it's like watching Wolf of Wall Street or Scarface. You watch the development and the growth. Whereas these prop traders just come out of the blue and they're already there. Like, you never really get to feel and see and understand and have your finger on the pulse of their struggles. They can tell you shit, but it's one thing when you really see it from a trader who's making it, and seeing a trader kind of fall and pick themselves up. Like, I fall. In some of my narrations, I will fall down and then pick myself up. And I think seeing that collapse, I think is very beneficial for retail traders, which they don't see. You guys don't see with prop traders, because you're going to experience that yourself, and seeing somebody else go through it and seeing them work through the problem, I think is very beneficial versus something you're just not seeing in a course or in a very established prop trader. Because a lot of us, you know, we want to learn from the very best. I get it. I do. All the material I've really paid for have been from these prop guys. However, as I've done this for so long, my viewpoints obviously shift over the years. The way I see this industry and how it all works, and the more I talk to you guys, the more I like start to really understand what it is and just how complex it is. So this is like the way I just view it at this point. And, you know, people aren't going to agree with me. People aren't going to want to hear this. But those of you that know, if you know, I mean, my content runs deep, and I personally think I out content for free a lot of these guys. Like, I put in a lot of passion and effort into my free content, more so than anybody else. So, and I just share what I'm thinking. And I think that's really important. As somebody in my position, is to, how are you feeling? You know, instead of having this facade of this hardened trader, I think it's important for you guys to understand how I feel, where I'm coming from, what I'm thinking. And I think a lot of these prop traders have this ego and image they feel they need to carry, and they really don't open up and become vulnerable to the point that they really connect with you guys. And that's something I know you guys really enjoy. I see it in the comments. You guys resonated with this openness of me just getting into a moment of vulnerable. Here, I fucked up, or this or that. And you're just not seeing it from these guys. And this is why I think trading courses fucking suck. But also the problem is you guys consuming it. And apparently with courses in general, 70% of people who buy courses don't even make it to the end. And that's not just trading courses. That's all courses. 70% of any fucking course out there. And trust me, I've been one of those people. I've bought courses for other things and didn't fucking finish them. I remember I bought a fundamental course in trading I really, really, really wanted, and I didn't fucking finish it. Granted, it was only $100 fucking dollars, but I just didn't want to finish it, versus something like Nadro is very expensive, several thousands of dollars. And I think the premium you pay for trading material, you have more skin in the game. You have more financial burden, or because money is just energy, in my opinion. You've given more energy. You've given more energy into this course. You've paid thousands of dollars for this course. So you've given more energy, more time and effort and energy went into making all that money. And you're shoveling a lot more for something versus $100, right? $100, whatever. That's a little bit of energy. Whereas more money, you're more likely to really want to consume and finish it. So I think some of the shit being very premium prices, there's a reason for that. And that's to get your ass to actually finish it and apply it. Because you put more of your life force into that via how much you paid for it. As much as some people want to complain, like I'm telling you, I give away so much free shit, and a lot of it is not taken seriously, that if I took this same shit and sold it for several thousands of dollars, like all the free shit you're seeing on YouTube, and really packaged it well and made it more seamless and sold it for several thousands of dollars, you guys would be more likely to really attempt to model what I'm fucking doing instead of just looking at the shit and being like, yeah, whatever. Because people don't value something that's free. People don't put value on free shit. That's just how it is. That's just human psychology. So I think some of this shit being really expensive, there's a reason for that. And it's to more likely get you to actually finish it, because most of you aren't finishing it. There's a good chunk of people who aren't watching the coffee that's subscribers. And it's only $133. Not that I want to raise that by any means, because it's going to take you probably 6 months of steadily consuming the material to get it. And by the time you pay for 6 months, it's worth a course, in my opinion. So, and you're getting a lot more for it. And if you're not consuming it for the first month, you're only out $133 versus, you consumed it for 6 months and you get a fuckload of case studies that are relevant. You hear my voice on the hard right edge. That's just the way I look at it. Because I know most people don't have the drive to do this. Most people don't have the passion to do this. Most people aren't willing to do this. Most people aren't willing to put in the work. You really have to obsess over trading for what it is. It has nothing to do with money. The money, this P&L, is a reflection of this man's skill. Hey, my skills are getting better. I'm implementing this and that and that. Here are the results. That's all that is. Who gives a fuck if it's $669? Who gives a fuck about those swings? We can see improvement. And we can see improvement through techniques for wanting to play the game. The best athletes love the game. The best athletes play the game at a high level, so therefore, their paychecks are bigger. The paycheck will take care of itself if you really love the game. And the game isn't making money. It is taking good fucking trades. I hope you guys have a clearer understanding of why I think courses are shit, where I think there's a disconnect from course providers, how I think old material can be irrelevant at some point, how you need to hear hard right edge narration and you need to see after the fact narration. I hope you can see how I think a lot of these prop traders have a disconnect from retail traders. I hope you can see how retail traders are at fault, how they're not consuming the courses 10 to 15 times, which that you should. However, I also think you need to see a shitload of case studies. And I think there's this sort of disconnect between course providers where it can be better. The material can be better. That's what I want to do, is just be better than everybody else. I have this fire and drive in me to just be better at helping you guys. I don't know. I fucking love it. I love doing this. I mean, I put in a lot of heart and soul into these videos. I have a lot of passion in sharing and teaching. So for me, this isn't like to make a quick fucking buck, okay? passion first, paychecks take care of it later. That's what it is. And I view the education space, and some educational people are really trying to make a quick buck, and the content just doesn't hit deep. And I think that just, that's bullshit. But again, I think when you're passionate about your business, no matter what the fuck it is, if you're in sales, you're selling cars, are you passionate about the cars you're selling? If you know everything about that car, that vehicle, people that sell private jets or yachts or whatever, those guys really love that fucking thing, or watches. Somebody who really knows a lot about a watch and how it's built and how it's crafted, the history of it, the story of it, really loves that thing. They're going to be a better salesman, and that shit's going to take care of the paychecks will take care of them. Like, they'll be bigger because of the passion they put into it. Same thing with your trading. The passion you put into your trading, the paycheck will take care of it. So for me, it's like, I love this aspect of trading. I mean, I don't know. I've flirted with the idea of having a prop firm myself. I just don't ever see that. I don't really ever see that happening anytime soon, because recently I've been on the fence about like doing something else, because I started to fall out of love with trading and then I fall in love with it. However, I feel as I gain more and more experience and I start to see results with traders that I help on occasion, I even do psychological stuff. I think I have the ability to help you guys get there at least a lot quicker than you could do on your own. And as I gain more experience with helping and guiding other traders, I'm just gonna get better at helping you guys get there quicker. And that's where these prop traders have something on me I don't. They understand how to get guys there quicker than I do, but I'm just a simple retail trader, right? But that's where I think I have an advantage they don't have. So I think there's this disconnect with prop traders and retail traders where they just don't quite get it. And the lack of them just being open-hearted and vulnerable and just like letting us see you speak with your heart and soul and take the ego away and just be totally fucking vulnerable. I think that helps other traders grow when you can fucking do that instead of being this stone wall. You got to do this, you got to do that. If not, you're fucking up type shit. Yeah, most men need to be talked like that at some point. I think some of you need a fucking swift kick in the fucking dick to get yourself straightened out. If you keep constantly fucking up, some of you need that talk. However, that alone is just, it's too much, because then you start to intimidate retail traders or whatever, another trader. And there needs to be that heart-to-heart as well to connect with a trader on that level, because, I mean, I just, that's where I think it needs to go, right? So, I raised a child for 5 years. I raised a little girl for 5 years, age 2 to 7. So I fucking crushed it. So I feel like when dealing with traders, they need praise. You guys need a lot of praise. You guys need to be amped up and shit like that. I think there needs to be stern talking to, and I think it is like dealing with children in a sense that you guys just need this gentle, lighthearted guidance, but there needs to be some sternness now. There can't be like this rage or yelling and cussing out of a trader. So I think somebody like in my shoes, I think it's important that they also know what they're doing. And some people that are high-level performers, high-level prop traders, they can't teach for shit. And then at that point, it kind of becomes useless. And again, I think some of these high-level traders who are swinging a lot of size or whatever, making 7 figures, are so far, their skill gap is so far out. Most of them are going to have a hard time connecting with brand new traders. I'm starting to notice that for me personally, like really, really brand new traders who know nothing, because I got a guy that I've been kind of helping that's pretty new. For me, it's kind of difficult to really finesse super new traders. I think where I'm at, if you got a year, 2 years, I think that's where I can help those types of traders because my skill gap isn't that much further ahead. So guys, I hope I know that video was really long. I know it wasn't what you thought it was. I hope you learn a thing or two from my perspective. And until then, I will see you in the next one.